on page 155. And we just finished talking about Valley Forge. You guys should have emailed me what do you think it would have been like, or a short summary of what it would have been like for the soldiers who lived at Valley Forge for the winter. Okay, so we're on page 155. I want to finish this lesson today and we can move on. So, foreigners' help on the battlefield. The Patriot cause had supporters around the world. A number of individuals from other nations gave their talents to the cause. One leader at Valley Forge was Marquis de Lafayette of France. He had come to the United States as a 19-year-old volunteer in June 1777. Lafayette was excited about the ideas expressed in the Declaration of Independence. He wanted to join the Battle of Freedom. Sorry, I'm going to start this. Okay, sorry. I have timers going, so I know how long I'm going. He agreed to serve without pay and became a trusted aide to Washington. Other Europeans volunteered to work for the Patriot cause. Two Polish men named Thaddeus Kościuszko and Casimir Pulaski supported the American efforts. Kościuszko helped build important defenses in America. Pulaski won promotions to rank of general. He died in 1779 fighting for the Continental Army. Frederick von Steuben also came to help Washington. Von Steuben had been an officer in the Prussian army. He helped train the Patriot troops at Valley Forge and shaped the ragged Continental Army into a more efficient fighting force. In 1778, Spaniard Juan de Miralles arrived in Philadelphia. He persuaded Spain, Cuba, and Mexico to send money to the United States. Miralles became a friend with many Patriot leaders and loaned money to the cause. So this guy was rich. He got people to donate money. Okay, Europeans who had recently moved to the United States also joined the Patriot cause. For example, almost 2/3 of the Pennsylvania regiment were foreign born. So they're not from the United States, but they don't want to be under the rule of Britain anymore. Even with the help of foreign nations and individuals, the Patriots faced huge challenges. The Continental Army still needed large amounts of money to fight the war and defeat Britain. Remember, war is like super expensive. So you have to pay for everyone to eat, you have to pay for weapons, you have to pay for a whole bunch of stuff. So it's expensive. So the more people they have helping out, the better chances they have for like actually winning. Okay. The hardship of soldiers involved in fighting the war were considerable. However, the war changed the lives of Americans, even those who stayed at home. For example, wives of soldiers had to take care of families by themselves. They had to run the farm or business without a husband's help. Children had to make do without father's presence. I'm on page 156 now. For the young United States, getting money to pay for the war was a great challenge. The Continental Congress had no power to raise money through taxes. So the Congress did not get money from the states or from foreign countries. Yet this amount fell far short from what was needed. To meet the need, Congress and the states simply printed hundreds of millions of dollars worth of paper money. So did they actually have the money to print the paper money? Nope, they didn't. It's just paper money. They said, here's a $100 bill. So what if somebody printed fake money and gave you a $100 bill? Would it be worth anything? It would not be worth anything because there's nothing behind it. If I printed Mrs. Nicholas bucks, right, and I gave each of you $1 million, could you go to the store and use that $1 million with my face, Nicholas bucks, printed on it? No, because out in the world, it's not worth anything. So let's see how they got it. Okay, so paper money quickly lost its value. The amount of bills was greater than the supply of gold or silver backing them. This led to inflation. So here we go, our first vocabulary word, inflation. Inflation. Which means that it took more and more money to buy the same amount of goods. More money to buy the same amount of goods. This still happens now. I mean, like, how much is milk worth? Well, milk is worth what they say it's worth. Back then, you could probably get a gallon or a jar of milk for like 2 pennies. Now it costs almost $2 to buy a gallon of milk. So that is called inflation. So the more money they print, the more it costs to buy things. Where things might be a penny before, now it's going to be like $2 to buy the same thing, because the money's not worth anything. Okay, so Congress stopped printing the paper money because no one would use it. This left Americans with no way to finance their fight for independence. Their ideals of liberty and freedom inspired American Revolution. The same ideals also caused some women to question their role in American society. Abigail Adams was one of these. She wrote to her husband, John Adams, a member of Congress, "I cannot say that I think you are very generous to the ladies. For whilst you proclaim peace and goodwill to men, emancipating all nations, you insist on retaining an absolute power over your wives." So basically, the wives are kind of getting mad because they're having to do the man's job while the guys are at work or at war, and they get no rights, nothing, and they're just expected to be quiet and stay at home. Okay, so the revolutionary quest for freedom led to liberties. Freedom and liberties led some white Americans to question slavery. So if you're saying that all men are created equal and all people should have the right to vote, then why do we have slaves? That's their question. In 1778, Governor William Livingston of New Jersey asked his government to free all enslaved people. He said slavery was utterly inconsistent with the principles of Christianity and humanity. African Americans made similar arguments. In New Hampshire, enslaved people asked the government for their freedom so that the name of the slave may not be heard in the land of glorious, contending for the sweets of freedom. So they're basically arguing that you guys want to be free from Britain, we want to be free from you. As you have read, African Americans fought for America, cause of hope, and hoped revolution would help end slavery. Pennsylvania legislature in 1780 adopted the plan to gradually free enslaved people. The first legislature in the world to take such action against slavery. Other northern states soon took similar measures. Still, the issue of slavery would remain unsettled for many years. Not all Americans supported the Patriots' cause. During the war, thousands of loyalists fought on the side of the British. Some loyalists spied on the Patriots. Many loyalists fled, packing their belongings and selling whatever they could. Some left hurriedly for England. So they went back to England so that they wouldn't be caught in the war. Okay, others took off for Spanish-owned Florida. Non-loyalists who remained in the United States faced difficult times. Their neighbors often shunned them, and some became victims of violence. So, I mean, you have patriot people attacking the loyalists. That's not great. Who actively helped British face arrest. So they would arrest them. And in rare cases, patriots executed loyalists. So they would, like, hunt them down. Okay, so for today's assignment, you guys are going to do page 157, questions 1 through 4, and you're going to take a picture of it and submit it online. Okay, so page 157, 1 through 4. Okay, see you guys tomorrow.